was a time when Athens seemed so far away. And now, to 6 young women, it is already a year ago. A time that will be remembered as one of the best in their lives. When one tough Texan proclaimed that Athens was her time. Now a new generation with another teenage phenom. Born in Russia, but nurtured at the same gym as Carly, Nastia Liukin now begins her journey at the national championships, mixed with other hopefuls, including 2 who just missed their Olympic chance. The destination is Beijing 2008. Once again, it seems so far away, but is it really? And after what we've experienced, it is not that far away. These are the 2005 Visa Championships at Conseco Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. Al Troutwig, Tim Daggett, Elfie Schlegel, and Andrea Joyce on NBC Sports. And in the next 2 days of coverage, we will see who the next national champion of the United States is. The last 2 years, as a junior, Nastia Liukin won the crown. Now she's competing as a senior at the age of 16, the only child from 2 outstanding gymnastics champions. Her father, a 1988 Olympic gold medalist, her mother, a world rhythmic gymnastics champion. And what do you think is on the mind of Chellsie Memmel, Tim and Elfie? Here's a woman who came to the United States Gymnastics aid, helped them win a gold medal at the 2003 World Championships, and then largely because of an injury was on the outside as an alternate looking in at the Olympic Games. And here she is still at it.
Well, she certainly is, and I'll tell you, if she had not injured her ankle, she, in my opinion, would have been on that Olympic team. This is the first time since the injury that Chellsie has felt like she is back, that she is an all-around gymnast again.
And a Yurchenko double twist. You know, Tim, she did those far better in the training. Not the best vault from Chellsie. She's capable of more power, a stuck landing.
A little bit messy in the air as well. You know, she said that going to the Olympic Games as an alternate, although not the big prize, was certainly a great experience. She just said that, you know, the injury, it came at a very inconvenient time.
Yeah, it was just bad timing all around for her. She just didn't have enough time to recuperate.
Chellsie Memmel from West Allis, Wisconsin. Just about everybody in her family is a gymnast. 9.366, her first score. And we'll have to see how that plays out. We'll get used to the judges. We'll get used to the scoring. And the United States team in the future could have a very international flavor. You start with Nastia Liukin, and then you go to Jana Bieger, who was actually born in Germany. Her mother was a gymnast for Germany, and now is her coach.
Yeah, so actually 3 of the top gymnasts for the United States, unusually all being coached by at least one parent. It's really remarkable.
Actually competed against Jana's mom, Andrea Bieger, back in 1976 when I was first starting out.
Very hard front somersault with a half twist. She is somewhat of a trickster.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of tricks from this athlete. Very difficult, and in my opinion, check out this combination here. Original.
Very different.
And
yes.
that's what's so impressive about her. She, remember, last year was a junior. You know, in my mind, watching her in practice and everything, it's like she's been here for a couple of years competing with the seniors. Very confident athlete.
4 events tonight, 4 events tomorrow. And then the national championship is awarded when the scores and total are put together.
And remember, sometimes starting off on balance beam, not an easy event.
Now that move by her on the beam was so unique. What has to happen for that to be called a Bieger?
Well, if she performs it at a World Championships, a major international competition, they will most likely call that the Bieger.
Check out this dismount, very difficult. What makes it so is the blind landing, a double front. Great exercise.
Shades of Yelena Prudnova on that one, going back a few years. Mom
liked it. Boy, that's got to be so difficult to be the coach of one of your children, and we're going to see that as Tim has alluded to.
I think it's easy when you do a routine like this, though. Watch those two very original moves, a back somersault right down to her knees, and this is what's really cool. Off of her knees and then right back to them again. Like I said, she does that. If she qualifies to the Worlds and competes on beam, I think it'll be called a Bieger.
9.533 for Jana Bieger. She makes a solid statement in her first event. And now the woman. It's as if she's got the crown already. That's how people talk about Nastia Liukin, the only child of two outstanding gymnasts. Dad, an Olympic champion in 1988. Mom, a world champion in rhythmic gymnastics. She's from the same gym as Carly Patterson. I mean, it's as if this has all been written already in terms of destiny.
Yeah, you can't have more in your corner than she's got. And you can't have more hype, and you can't have more backing it up with the results.
And for Nastia, it's not one of her strengths, the vault. She's only performing a Yurchenko 1.5. The start value, again, it's only out of a 9.7, but she is working towards a much more difficult vault for the future. That was excellent, though.
Yeah, what she does is, her trademark is absolute perfect lines and an incredible perfection, knees and toes. And this was what was unusual. She looked a little bit more off balance to me. I thought she was going to take a big step forward, and somehow she's calm and she just takes the smallest little hop.
Not a home run, but a 9.366. And now to Alicia Sacramone from Winchester, Massachusetts. She's 17. She was on the Olympic radar for a while, and it just didn't work out for her. And here she is, just like Chellsie Memmel, still at it.
Yeah, she really made a charge right towards the end. And her coach, Mihai, told us that last year it was building crazy like a tsunami, he said, and they just didn't quite have the time.
Well, it was all about focus, too. He had a really hard time keeping her focused on what the task was. Alicia is very personable. She'd always be chatting with all the other athletes, and you know, that was one of the difficulties that he faced and she did, was focusing on these very difficult exercises.
Hugely powerful athlete, just about as powerful as they come in the world of gymnastics. Huge trick.
Beautiful.
Wow, that's an Arabian salto, and she feels really good getting that one out of the way.
Oh. And maybe, Tim, what you just said is the key thing. Maybe she relaxed for a moment.
Oh golly, I mean, that is her major element, and she knows it. If she does struggle, it comes on that. And a little bit flustered now.
She tends to get a little bit ahead of herself, thinking towards that next element. And you know, it's too bad, because that's one of the things that Alicia really wanted to prove to Marta Caroli. She wanted to prove to her that she's just not a two-event athlete. She wants to go for all around.
Yeah, I mean, Marta, she told us that Alicia's excellent on floor exercise and, of course, vaulting. And if she hits on beam, she's excellent there, too. And Marta doesn't want any ifs on her team, though, that's for sure.
That's a tough way to get started in the national championship.
And she really has looked a lot more confident last year. Nerves really got her, and she admitted to that. She had a great competition just a couple of weeks ago at the Classic, qualifying for this event.
And Tim, part of that confidence came from competing.
It's only their routine.
Two coaches there.
And you make their routine, and you finish the routine. This was exactly what happened.
Yeah.
It's not. No, it's not.
And he is not happy.
No.
One of the coaches giving a little bit of sympathy, saying it's okay, and he's going, it is not okay.
No, I was saying part of that confidence that helped her leading into this competition was competing so much internationally after the Olympic Games, which she didn't make, of course.
Well, that's going to hurt. 8.883 for Alicia Sacramone. Damage control in progress. This is the first rotation of the Visa National Championships. Night one of the 2005 Visa Championships in gymnastics at Conseco Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. Only one rotation done, but already this event is playing its mind games as the 3-year process toward the next Olympics begins. For Alicia Sacramone, a veteran, she's already been shaken by falling off the balance beam. And her coach has said to her, it's not okay, it's not okay. And now she must mentally recover for the rest of her performance tonight. Then there's Nastia Liukin. In her first appearance at the senior level, we're wondering whether we're seeing the next queen of American gymnastics. She has successfully survived her brief experience with the vault and moves on to rotation 2. So, Tim Daggett and Elfie Schlegel, here we are a year after Athens, and all the stars that won the silver medal for the United States are not here, and they all have reasons why. But the question is that it? Are we done seeing them or not?
Well, historically, if you look at after an Olympic Games, you see a lot of the athletes move on. You have to remember, so much goes into getting to the Olympic Games, the sacrifice, the discipline. They're tired after it's all over, and then you have the opportunities that someone like Carly Patterson has, so it's very, very difficult. I know personally, trying to go to a second Olympic Games, hardest thing I ever tried to do.
Really? Well, Elfie, 2005 is to Beijing and 2008 what 2001 was to Athens. We thought it would be interesting to look back at the landscape in USA Gymnastics back in 2001, and you can see what a long, difficult process this is. Mohini Bardwaj is the only one who actively participated. Tasha Schweikert was an alternate, but all the other names faded away for a variety of reasons.
Well, I think, Al, in this immediate group that we're seeing right now, Nastia Liukin, we've already said it, she is for real, and in my mind, she's already there. And in this group, we may very well see a few others that will join Nastia. But I think realistically, the talent is going to come from the junior ranks.
So it would be just as Carly Patterson did it.
Just as Carly did in 2001.
Now to the second rotation, Jana Bieger, first after the first rotation.
Now on floor exercise for polka, Jana
And really, Al, that's
Bieger.
really, it's not an unreasonable place for her to be. She is very good on balance beam, very good on this event. You're going to see 4 extremely difficult tumbling passes.
There's Mom right there.
Just barely kept that on her feet, had to squat down on that landing.
Well, we know one thing, she's got unbelievably strong legs.
Yeah, obviously tumbling is her forte, and one area where she will improve down the road is in the choreography. They know that. They know she needs to work on it. She's still very young.
And this is about for Jana Bieger and for Nastia Liukin going to the next level now, from junior to senior, continuing to show improvement and hopefully impressing Marta Karolyi and everybody else to get a World Championships appearance later on this year.
No question about that. And no question she gets this triple full around. Like Elfie said, she can jump. But the 9.166, that's actually a low score for her. She had to squat down on a couple of those landings, and as Elfie said, she needs to improve on what this young lady right here does so well, the overall artistry and the ballet aspects of a floor exercise routine.
She has had an unbelievable, already at her young age, career on vault. And her resume is something to look at. First.
And this takes your breath away, to be perfectly honest. The long lines, and it's not just that she does super hard stuff. It's that she does it flawlessly.
Now watch the legs. She never breaks form. Her handstand positions are right on top of the bar. Very reminiscent, as Tim has said before, of the Chinese athletes. And all this difficulty on one bar, it's incredible work.
Now she'll fly high. This is her release skill. It's great. She truly is phenomenal on this event. Flies from that high bar. She doesn't just transition from one to the other. It's like, wow, look at the height and how effortless. Yeah, you don't get much better than that at all, I gotta tell you.
See all the fans here at Conseco Fieldhouse holding up their 10s, and that was not perfect, darn good. And with the new scoring gymnastics, we may never see a 10 again.
Watch how beautiful, and she should get a 10 for a skill like this. Watch this, a full spin on one arm, drops it down by her body, makes it a little more difficult.
And Tim, let's point out all this combination work. That's what makes her bar routine so difficult, are the combinations. Setting up here for her dismount, double layout, stretched out body position, looking for that perfect landing. Tiny, tiny hop.
Looking for a big score to move up in the standings.
Gonna get a big score for sure.
And it is the highest we've seen so far, 9.75.
Oh, the Bieger?
The smiling sportsman. Didn't he visit you in the hospital when you got injured in '87?
He did, I'll never forget it.
And now he's got a prodigy on his hands. More from Indianapolis after this. Back in Indianapolis, we're going to see a little bit now about what's going inside the head of Alicia Sacramone. Tied for 10th after the first rotation. She fell off the beam. Looked like she was a bit of an emotional mess there for a while, and now she's got to get herself refocused. And I would think, Elfie, this is a good event for her to get refocused.
No question. Alicia is known for her power in tumbling. She's explosive. And one thing that I like about her on-floor exercise is she doesn't hold back.
Well, that should put Alicia Sacramone back into the mix.
That was phenomenal. Every aspect of it, hugely powerful tumbling, great presentation, artistry. It was great. You know, she told us last year in preparation to try to make that Olympic team, she had worked so hard. Everything was leading up for it. She got there, and then she just bombed it. Had to take some time off. Got together with her coaches, her parents, and she decided that she wasn't done. She was going to give it one more run.
There in the first part. You rush in the first part. This was a little bit. That was okay.
Well, he's coaching for night 2. And she's back up there on floor exercise, but that's a big score, 9-7-3-3. And now back to Chellsie Memmel. She was tied for 3rd after the first rotation. And I guess, guys, Chelsea's just at the point where she's going to keep at it and see how it all plays out.
Yeah, she told us she wasn't exactly sure. She might go to college. It all depends on hopefully making it to the Worlds, and then how Dakota points turns out as well.
But she is outstanding on this event. A world champion in 2003, actually won the World Cup final in 2004 after the Olympic Games. This is really her greatest apparatus.
Yeah, I mean, those are obviously the 2 biggest international competitions that there are, sandwiched between the Olympic Games. Really neat dismount, double front. Well, a couple of summers ago, we marveled at her incredible competitiveness at the World Championships, and she looks to not have deterred from that at all.
You know, a very different style from Nastia Liukin. She actually has more individual skills as opposed to the combinations that we saw from Nastia, but very strong elements, very powerful.
So Chellsie Memmel makes her statement to remain in the top 3, which she will, with a mark of 9.666. Smiles all around for her. She's been very solid so far in this, the first of 2 days of competition. Still to come, Nastia Liukin. So much of the advanced publicity in these Visa National Championships coming her way with good reason. When we come back, we'll see her on the beam, plus explore her relationship with Carly Patterson. They trained in the same gym. Back at Conseco Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana, we are in effect at halftime. 2 rotations done, 2 to come, another day of competition tomorrow. And Nastia Liukin has the lead over Chellsie Memmel. And this was the plan. Valerie Liukin, the Olympic gold medalist, said coming in he thinks that she should win the national championship after winning back-to-back junior national championships. And we go to Alicia Sacramone on the vault, and what a comeback she put forth on the floor after falling off the beam.
She was 10th after the first rotation, jumped up to 4th, and she can do it even more now. This is her best event. Many feel she's the best in the world, and I have to agree.
And that is why she is one of the best in the world on vault. Explosive, powerful. We're seeing a lot of these vaults, Yurchenko double twist. The start value is 9.8, but what makes this one so different is the height, the power, and the distance that Alicia gets away from the horse. Great.
She has been virtually unbeatable on this event, even defeated Olympic champion Monica Rousseau at the World Cup on vault.
And it's a full-out charge now by Sacramone on Liukin's lead, who trains in Plano, Texas. And every day she does, she thinks of Carly Patterson, remembering last August 19th like it was her own birthday.
Every single day I walk in and signs on the door, Golden Girl, the big Wheaties box with her on it. All the posters and the signs we have in the gym, you know. Olympic gold medalist Carly Patterson. Carly won the Olympics and it's almost been a year, you know, August 19th, it's gonna be a year, and it just feels like it went by so fast. You know, she leaves the country as like just the national champion and comes back as like the world's like hero, you know?
It just makes it so much more realistic. That's what it makes when you see Carly came up to the gym. It's great. I think that's great for Nastia. She can really believe that it's possible. Head. You need to release your head, Ben.
You see how hard she trains, you know, what she had to do, what she had to go through, so you know what it takes to be the Olympic champion. With both of my parents being successful gymnasts and Carly training here, I guess I can see where people, you know, say that I could be the next big thing, but I try not to take in too much of that because I don't want to be like, you know, have like too much stuff in my head, you know. I don't feel like I'm the next big thing. I guess maybe, you know, more media and stuff, but I feel like I'm the same Nastia.
She does get a lot of attention right now. It does make me feel very proud. It does make me feel like she's becoming a great gymnast. She's on her way. That's what I feel. But at this point, she won too many meets. And it's gonna be hard when she's not gonna win, you know, and it happens. It will happen for sure. She's gonna fall, she's gonna have a mistake. She's just a human being, and she will have a mistake. And I think this is gonna be hard for her.
Everything seems like it just keeps going really fast. I think really these last, few years leading up to the Olympics, I think they'll go by pretty fast.
Well, some days may go by fast and others may be slow. But this is one where she's in control, the leader after 2 rotations with a 9.366 on vault, 9.75 on uneven bars, and as someone who competed against and has tremendous respect for her dad, what are the aspects of him, the gymnast, the coach, does he bring to her game?
Oh, well, just the experience. I mean, he trained in the Soviet system, which was basically a gymnastics factory. Every single solitary detail from the very beginning to the end of a career was planned, plotted out. He knows how to get it done, and he was a great athlete himself. He's also a great human being, to be perfectly honest, and you can see it in his daughter for sure.
Tim, he also brings originality, or at least the thought of original skills. He said he's not interested in creating routines for Nastia that are just the regular stuff, as he put it.
A bit of a wobble there. She's got amazingly long, lean lines.
Well, what sets her apart, and a little bit of difficulty there too, she's looking just a little bit more nervous than we've seen in the practices. This typically a solid event for her. Her rhythm is what sets her apart from the other athletes, just very fluid from the dance elements right into the acrobatic skills.
Sometimes the expectations are set by others. In this particular case, I think they're set by everybody. Others, Dad, and herself.
Well, like her dad said, all she has to do is look at the record books. Everything she's in, she wins just about. The all-around, floor exercise on even bars, and this event too, balance beam. She wins just about every time she's in a competition.
Just her dismount, round off, triple twist.
Oh! Oh, wow. That was scary. Yikes.
Boy, Tim, Elfie, 1 minute you're a coach, and the next minute you better be a dad. That was scary.
Now on floor exercise.
And remarkably, that turned out as well as you could ever hope for. Her foot, just one of them, basically completely coming off the balance beam. It's amazing she was able to not get hurt badly on this. She does only a double twist instead of 3 times around, but...
And Tim, the result of this is just a devastating deduction. Look at that, just taking off of 1 foot. You know, obviously she's going to incur all kinds of deductions because she didn't complete a dismount.
I always go back to, though, she stands up and she's okay, and like you said, Al, he's thinking coach, and then he's thinking, gosh, I'm a dad now.
Just a moment ago in our interview with him, Valerie Liukin said he thought his daughter has maybe had too much winning and that there would be a day when things would not go right. How about dealing with an 8.783? Crushing perhaps for her, maybe not. To others, it's a wide open door. About the only thing you can do if you're a championship caliber athlete is forget about it when something goes bad and start thinking ahead. Nastia Liukin is dealing with that. I wonder if she's ever had an 8-point anything in her career, Tim and Elfie. Well, as that happens to her, and her stock falls just a bit on this, the first day of competition. What about Chellsie Memmel? Here's Chellsie just missing out on the Olympics, sticking with the sport. All she's heard about is how Nastia Liukin is the next one. She's going to win this national championship. And yet, here's a shot. And to her at this point, I think a national championship and a chance of being at the World Championships again, it sounds pretty darn good.
Well, I think Chellsie has done a lot of growing up since not making the Olympic team, and she told us that one of the things that year taught her was the injuries and all that she had gone through really made her more mature about how to handle her training. She has a lot more say about what she does in the gym each and every day.
Boy, it's really one of those moments, isn't it, that you wonder if it brings out the killer instinct. You see the door open and you want to charge right through it.
Well, I would say we'll know a little bit right here. Very difficult Arabian.
Solid.
Perfect. That's what she has always been known for, though, is that killer instinct.
Yeah, she's totally in charge with this routine, and like her uneven bar routine, she's got variety in this exercise, but there aren't a lot of combinations. There are very difficult single elements.
The Hom twins, she's a Wisconsin kid.
Dismount, it's a round off double pike. There's your leader.
So the standings in this national championship dramatically change.
Yeah, she was in total charge of this exercise. Took total command of this routine, including the dismount right to the bitter end, round off double pike. It was great exercise.
Now on floor exercise.
Awesome.
Thanks, you too.
One more rotation to go. Big sigh of relief and a 9.7. They haven't been throwing those around here today. And one more gymnast to go in the third rotation. Jana Bieger.
She reminds me a lot of Chellsie. They have many of the same qualities, both very powerful, and both seem to deal with adversity and the pressure extremely well. Very nice ball, very clean, good power.
Yurchenko with the 1.5 twist. That start value was a 9.7.
So as we continue, one more rotation to go for Nastia Liukin. It will come on the floor. We'll see how she shakes off her rough and dangerous dismount from the balance beam as Chellsie Memmel takes over the lead and Jana Bieger puts up a 9.4. This is the first of 2 days of competition, and already the woman that many have anointed the next national champion has hit a major bump in the road. Thankfully, she's okay and good to go. Little damage control in Camp Liukin for Nastia Liukin and her dad, the Olympic champion. A moment to literally plan ahead for what they want to get out of the floor exercise in terms of a big score. All Nastia has to do is look to what happened after Alicia Sacramone put up an 8 and change in the first rotation and has roared back into the picture. And then there's Chellsie Memmel, a part of the World Championship gold medal winning team for the United States 2 years ago, now hanging on to the sport after missing a chance in the Olympics, thinking that it feels pretty good to be #1 after 3 rotations. But there is lots of gymnastics to come, and largely this has been a story of 4 women: Jana Bieger, Nastia Liukin, Chellsie Memmel, and Alicia Sacramone.
And this actually an event that Alicia does not really excel at. She struggles here. Her start value is somewhere in the 9.4, 9.5 range, and frankly, she is not that consistent on this event. I'm sure she'll be happy if she can just somehow get through this exercise and be done with night 1.
Yeah, I think, Tim, what she's looking forward to is really just hitting this event. Everyone knows that she's an exceptional 2-event athlete, but she really wants to be more known as the all-around.
Great on floor exercise and vault. Here's her release, and that will give her a big sigh of relief right there.
Swing, swing, big seat, big seat.
A little bit crooked on that.
You can hear Coach Mihai coaching her through this exercise.
Well, nice dismount, but it is not going to grab a big score.
She does seem relieved.
Yes, I'm sure she's very happy with it, but just by the nature of the start value alone, and some of the angles aren't as clean and through the vertical or the handstand as they need to be to bring in that big score.
But one area where she did excel was on the dismount. Here you see the giant swing. She is very powerful, gets a good release there in that straight body double layout.
Very interesting how this is all playing out right now. 2 gymnasts missing on the Olympics, hanging around. Sacramone will have to try and absorb an 8.75, her second score in the 8s. And the 2 new young guns in Bieger and Nastia Liukin. Good feeling when your first night is in the books. All right, let's see the recovery power of Nastia Liukin. Is she if she is going to be a champion, she's got to shake off moments like that.
Well, she does, and she actually is capable of doing some of the most unique and difficult skills in the world on floor. Has decided to water down a little bit, was going to unveil a quad twisting somersault in her first pass. She's only going to do a 3.5 today, though. Comes up right here.
And that was not a 3.5,
Wow.
just a 2.5. Opened up early.
That was not planned. That was an error.
Physically, doesn't she remind you of Svetlana Orkina?
In a lot of ways, yes. Obviously, the long arms and legs. Well, she was able to hold on, but that was not the day one that Nastia was looking for.
On ball, the scoreboard, Ricky McCullough, 9.266.
You know, she had trained so hard to be able to do this quad twist, and they decided to make the right decision, which was be a little more cautious and do a 3.5 twist, which she has competed before. But as you see there, that is only 2.5. The arms reach up a little bit early. She must have just felt like she was probably going to over-rotate if she stayed in for another twist. Wow, that's too high.
Now, normally, if she were to perform the 3.5 twist, the start value would be out of a 10, but this routine should have been out of a 9.9.
And they did, yes, they did give it a 10-0 start value. So does that remind you of anything, Al?
Shades of Paul Hamm. Meanwhile, there's no question the most consistent gymnast so far in this first day has been Chellsie Memmel. And she moves into this final rotation in first place. Well, you can see it in her face. She is thrilled with herself, and for good reason. She's going to be in first place at the end of night one.
What do you think?
Yeah, Al, you're right. Right from the very start, you could see it in her face, in her gymnastics. I think she just really wanted to make that statement, not only to herself, but to Marta Crowley, everyone else, that she was back, and back as an all-around athlete.
How much does it mean, Tim, and this may sound silly, but when I see an athlete in the midst of an intense competition like this smiling, it shows me the inner freedom that they have to be doing what they're doing. That tells me a lot about where she's coming from.
Well, Marta Caroli has kudos for her, says she might be the most ready of any of the athletes in this entire competition.
Nastia Liukin losing her lead in the third rotation mishap on the balance beam. And she now will just watch to see where things shake out. Jana Bieger has been very consistent as well. All in the nines. Her lowest score, a 9.166. And here she is on the uneven bars.
She actually had a better competition than she thought possible. Was second at the qualifying meet, the classic for this. Said it was more than she thought could ever happen.
And really competing like she's been a senior for a couple of years already. She's just been solid. But this is exactly how she trains as well. She makes very few mistakes.
And with its melting pot origins, is there anything more appropriate than to have two women, one born in Russia and one born in Germany, factoring in top 4 of the American National Championship?
Another solid performance.
Great day one as her first senior competition in the USA. Great job.
Mom and daughter enjoying the first day of competition. But it's hard not to be thinking of what Chellsie Memmel has done here on night one. Everybody was talking Liukin this and Liukin that. And who is leading after the first day but Chellsie Memmel? She just didn't have one major mistake to think about. Now, Jana Bieger is rewarded with a 9.516.
Good score.
So let's take a look at the standings now. 4 rotations done, 4 more to come tomorrow on NBC Sports. But that's a sizable lead for Chellsie Memmel over Bieger, Liukin, and Sacramone. Let's go to Andrea Joyce with our leader.
Chellsie, everything you've been through in the past year, describe what this moment is like for you to be leading after the first day at Nationals.
This is a really great moment for me. It's just great to be out there competing all around again. I'm not a bar and beam specialist anymore. It's just great.
And when you think about all of the talk about the newcomers, the up-and-coming new guard, did you feel like you had a little bit of something to prove out there?
Not to prove to like the younger people coming up, it's just to prove to myself, mainly myself, because I wanted to show everyone too that I'm an all-around athlete now.
How much has the last year changed you as a person and a competitor?
It's changed me a lot. I learned a lot about competition, about injuries, about everything, just with all the things I went through. So it really helped me grow up a lot.
Congratulations. Good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah.
In the end, it's all a learning process for the teenagers. For Nastia Liukin, it's a major bump in the road, just as Daddy predicted it might happen. Alicia Sacramone, too, overcoming an early stumble, back in the mix. For Chellsie Memmel, a proven commodity. She just wants to keep it the way it is. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 Eastern and Pacific on NBC.